Hello and good afternoon, my people. How are we all feeling? Good evenings from London. Amazing. Started trading properly this year. Looking to learn more about psychology. Oh my God, you are going to love this session. Okay, I think, here we go. Let's go. Okay, right. Why trading is 90% psychology. Your trading problems do not start in the market. They start within you. I'm going to say that again. Your trading problems do not start in the market. They start within you. And I'm about to teach you what 90% of traders completely miss or ignore. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself. So, my background is in mindset coaching, personal development, where I spent several years helping hundreds of people understand their thinking, their behaviors, and their habits so they can create long lasting change. Through this work, I've seen how strongly mindset influences performance in high pressure environments. And trading is one of the clearest examples of that. And obviously, to the right, you can see just some of my testimonials from one of my old communities. So I'm also an author of a book, Young, Dumb and Depressed, that focuses on mindset and personal growth, where I explore many of the same principles, the same psychology principles applied directly to trading psychology. So in this 3-day training, we will bring those ideas into the world of trading, helping you understand not just what to do in the market, but why your mind behaves the way it does when money and pressure are involved. Because trading isn't just about your strategy, it's about how you think, how you react, and how you manage yourself in high pressured situations. Once you begin to understand your psychology, trading starts to make a lot more sense. I'm just going to have a little look at the comment section. I feel like this is going to be my breakthrough. I feel like, yes, guys, if you are struggling, if you have realized that you've been struggling with your emotions in trading, this is for you. Okay, this is for you. Perfect, amazing, liked and shared. Thank you so much, everyone. So I have been trading since 2024. I started out using signals where I managed to double my account in a short period of time. But that wasn't from luck or gambling, but from my understanding of psychology behind how we behave under pressure and how our emotions influence our decision making. A few months later, I began to learn how to take my own trades and analyze the market. It didn't take me long to realize that trading is much more than charts and strategy. Trading is a mirror of our habits, discipline, and emotion. Using my years of education and qualifications, I started to connect the psychological patterns that I had studied within behavior, I was now seeing in trading. That's when things started to really make sense for me. I realized that success in trading isn't about finding one setup. It's about developing a mindset, discipline, and self-awareness to execute consistently. I really hope that makes sense, everyone. Now, Sid, I'm so glad you're here. Remember, guys, to tap the screen. Remember to share. We're giving away 10K accounts at the end of the 3 days. The people that connect with us, that comment, that share, that like, and that actually get involved. So that's a little bit about myself before we carry on. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Have you ever closed a winning trade too early? Have you ever held a losing trade for way too long? Have you ever revenge traded after a loss? Or have you ever moved your stop loss hoping that the market would eventually turn around? See, the thing is, guys, that is not a strategy problem. That's a mindset issue. So have you ever wondered why two traders can have the exact same strategy, yet one makes money and one loses money? The difference is how they think and behave under pressure. Your emotions are influencing your trades more than you realize. And these 4 emotional drives shape your trading behavior and your results. Yes, 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 I've done all these. Amazing. Once you start trading, you'll never stop. You've done all of them. Yeah, I guess we've all been there in some sense, you know. So these are the 4 emotional drives that shape our behavior in trading. Remember, get your notepads and get your pens. So, number 1, the 3 fear factors. Fear of losing money, fear of being wrong, which is heavily to do with our ego, and the fear of missing out, which is FOMO, which everyone has heard of. Now, this leads to cutting wins early, hesitating on entry, and over trading. Number 2, the need for control. Listen to me, guys. Listen to this and write this down everywhere. Wanting certainty in an uncertain industry, wanting certainty in an uncertain market. Okay, that's the need for control and trying to control every outcome. Once I started to realize that we want certainty as humans, that's how we're wired. And actually, we're in an industry where we rely on uncertainty. Okay, so wanting certainty in an uncertain market and trying to control every outcome. Now, this leads to over managing trades, moving stop loss, and not trusting the system. And I know you guys have probably spent years or however long you've been in the industry really getting your strategy up to scratch. But then because you're not dealing with your mindset and you're not educating yourself on your mindset and creating daily habits, this is making you not trust your own system. And letting go, letting the ego drive your trades, ignoring the trading plan to prove a point, or trying to be right instead of simply following your system. Now, this leads to bigger losses or blown accounts and not protecting your capital first. And guys, that is guilty. That is our number one job. Our number one job in trading is to protect your capital first, make money secondly. And last of all, conditioning. Your brain is wired to avoid pain, which is losses, and seek pleasure, which is wins. That is your hard drive emotional conditioning. It's natural. So I'm going to say that again. Your brain is naturally wired to avoid pain, which is losses, and seek pleasure, which is wins. But as you know, trading requires the opposite. It requires accepting losses and staying neutral on wins. If these 4 emotions are running the show, you will never become profitable. And I'm sorry if that triggers anyone or offends everyone, but remember what I say and what I used to say in my old community: let your triggers be your guides. If something is triggering you in here, don't run away from it, lean into it. Why is this triggering me? You know, I've blown so many accounts. Oh, bless King. So if these 4 emotions are running the show, yeah, let's go back. Allowing your conditioning to run your show, letting your ego run the show, letting control run the show, or allowing fear. If these 4, or even one of them really, are running the show, you will never become profitable, okay? You're not stuck because of your strategy. You're stuck because of your thought loop, okay? So let's say you win a trade, you start to feel invincible, and then you over risk, you lose, you get frustrated, you revenge trade, and then it repeats. Or you lose a trade, you feel self-doubt, you hesitate, you miss entries, you chase, you lose, and then you repeat. Same pattern, different day, same result. The market isn't against you. You're just interpreting everything through a distorted lens built from fear, ego, and past losses. Always getting humbled by the ego. You know what, user? The market will always find a way to humble you. Always, you know? We all have the keys. Sonia, okay, you're so on point. Yes, Paul, yes, this is what we do. We are so on point. I've been doing this work for years. I have been doing this work for years. And even though I've only been in the trading industry since 2024, and I've been trading since 2024, doesn't mean I didn't do a lot of this work that we're speaking about now many years ago. So what is really happening? Patterns in progress. This is where the mindsetting loop comes in. And guys, this is my favorite thing to teach, to learn. When I learned this loop, my life changed. I learned this loop before trading, by the way. My life dramatically changed when I learned this loop. This loop is not only just going to help you transform your trading, it's going to help you transform your life if you use it as a tool. So please, notepads and pens. Imi, sorry. Okay, right. This is the thought processing loop. And every single time you have a thought, this is what happens. A thought develops. It triggers a feeling. That feeling triggers a behavior. That behavior triggers a result. That result turns into a belief. And then after that, it repeats itself, going around and round and round in circles, round and round and round in circles forever until it's broken. Okay. And I'm going to speak about this in more depth within trading. Okay. So a thought develops like, I don't want to lose this profit, or I need this trade to win. That thought creates an emotion such as fear, greed, frustration, or hope. The emotion then drives behavior like closing trades early, moving stop losses, over trading, or hesitating on good setups. This behavior then leads to inconsistent results. The trader then forms a belief such as, my strategy doesn't work, or I need a better system. The loop repeats. They change the strategy, but because their mindset has never changed, the same pattern repeats itself. Will these slides be available? I will speak to you later, Imi, but this session is gonna be recorded and put up on my YouTube, and I'm sure Doe's. So yes, behavioral loop. And this loop goes round and round and round until it is interrupted. Until it is interrupted, this is what is going on. And it is your job to become aware. Okay, so why most traders stay stuck? Traders usually respond by searching for new strategy, watching more YouTubes, adding more indicators, or jumping systems. But they never address the fear, the emotional reaction, the discipline, or the decisions made under pressure. The truth about consistent traders don't eliminate emotions. They build systems and habits to manage them. They focus on discipline, process, probability, and persistency. They do not focus on being right. Now that comes from the ego, constantly wanting to be right, okay? They don't focus on being right. They follow an emotional strategy. They follow a market strategy or a market strategy, and they do not focus on being right. So this is the last part of the training, by the way. And this part is how you live your life directly affects your trading. Trading is one of the few environments where your psychology is exposed instantly. Okay? So this means if you have an undisciplined life, you're going to be an undisciplined trader. If you avoid discomfort, you're going to avoid taking valid trades. If you have impulsive habits, you're going to impulsively enter trades and exit trades. How you live your life is a mirror of how you trade and how successful you are in trading. So a lot of people will go round and round and round, strategy, indicator, entry, but they never look at actually how they're living their lives on a day-to-day basis. Because how you live your life, what habits you have in your life daily, has an impact and a result on your trading, okay? Let's take a screenshot of the sides. Now I see where my problems are coming from. Nelson, that's amazing. No, we're not finished already. Don't worry. This is just the last part that I'm going to go through. Now I see where my problem is coming from. Wow. Okay. Amazing. This is amazing. You're starting to realize that if you go round in the same cycle, let's go back. If you get round in the same cycle, you're going to get the same results. Remember, if you guys know, what did Einstein say? The definition of insanity, what did he say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results, okay? If we do not become aware and learn how to interrupt this thought processing loop, you will stay in the exact same position forever. Yes, please ask as many questions as we're going along. Please, please, please. That's what I'm here for. You're only going to have me today, by the way. This is the only day you're going to have me. Doe's on tomorrow and she's on for the next day. This is the only day that you are going to have me. So we can finish up the slides and then I can ask anyone if anyone wants to go back on any slides and we can go through that. So please, please, please. Mine's definitely just pain from seeing the volatility sometime. Yeah, exactly. But again, you're holding emotion onto that trade. You're holding emotion onto that money. And that's where it's coming from. Okay. It's not coming from, oh, it's just the volatility going up and down. Actually, it's deeper than that. And this is what we need to become aware of. It's not just, oh, it's volatility up, down. Yeah. What is it? It's fear of losing money. So we have to identify what emotion is driving your trades and driving your vessel, when you're in a trade. Well, so many emotions being reflected on my trading. Yeah. And Paul, that's okay. I think that a lot of people's egos are so big that they can't even admit when maybe then they're doing something that isn't helping them. And that's what us as coaches are here for. We've seen this stuff hundreds of times. I've seen this stuff hundreds of times. Maybe not within trading as much, but mainly in self-development mindset and psychology. Can you share with an example? What example do you mean? How can I stop my emotions to affect my trading performance? It's becoming aware at first, Nelson. You have to become aware of what is driving. What emotion is driving your trades? We have to start becoming aware. Okay. It is lagging, so I'm just going to carry on. Okay, so trading exposes patterns that were already there. So people's, how do you overcome FOMO? So trading patterns are exposed. That's what happens, okay? The patterns were already there in your personal life. Your patterns were already, your thought processing loop in general hasn't changed. It's what is your thought? How is your thought processing loop wired? Now, everyone has gone through different things in their lives. We have the human conditioning, how we're wired, and then we've got conditioning from our families, from our friends, from the social media that we watch, So the first stage is to become aware of what emotion is driving your trades. So the solution. Consistent trading isn't built on a single trade or system. It's built through daily habits that develop discipline, awareness, and emotions over time. And lastly, it's built through education on trading psychology. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look over here where the screen is. And then I'm just going to go through a couple of messages. Practicing this at the moment can be so hard. Whoa, so many emotions be affecting my trading. Well done, Paul, you're number 2. And well done, Imi. How to handle short-term volatility where long-term doesn't bother me whatsoever. Mine's definitely just paying for seeing how to you disconnect from the money as much as you possibly can. This is why I tell people stop working in pounds, in dollars, in currency. Start working in percentages. We can't take our emotions fully away from trading, okay? We can't. But what we can do is we can manage our emotions through daily habits, through journaling, and through systems, okay? Whoa, so many emotions. I've been affecting my trading. How can I stop my emotions to affect my trading performance? You don't stop your emotions. You create daily habits. Like I said, you create daily habits that develop discipline, awareness, and emotional control over time. Okay? This is how we're naturally wired. If you think Rome was built in a day and that we can just do a couple of sessions and that's it, like transformation has happened. Like I have created many transformations within people, hundreds of people over the years, but it is not a short-term fix. This is discipline, daily habits, you know, and becoming aware. You have to become aware of what's going wrong. But the first stage is education. If you don't know anything about trading psychology or psychology in general, how the mind works and how our thoughts work, how are you meant to become aware of what thoughts are actually damaging your success and your results? Journaling is in my head. You have to journal. You have to journal. You have to. So I had this interview with this GP practitioner years ago. Not interview, sorry. Yeah. We done like a podcast. He invited me onto his podcast, and he said journaling is like brain dumping. Okay, because our egos always tell us we're right. There is no way that we can do our journaling and our figure out in our own head. We need to do it down on paper or type it. We need to get it out. We need to brain dump. Yeah, because when you brain dump, you see it. In your head, you don't see it, you hear it. But when you see things, you start to connect the dots, okay? Psychology is everything and not just in trading. So, yeah, so true. This 98% of traders lose sounds very close to the 90% of people who live their life on default. Yes, unconsciously. Have you seen a connection? Yes. And a lot of the times it's through ego. People don't want to be wrong. And I think people understand this. I'm guessing most of you have trading Instagrams and TikToks and social medias. The thing is with the trading industry, it's very egotistic, you know, but to be a good trader, you have to limit your ego. So this can have a massive clash on actually you getting to where you want to be. Let's go back to the ego part. Letting ego drive your trades, okay? So have you ever ignored your trading plan just to prove a point or just to be right? I know that it's going up. I know it's going up. I know it won't get any lower than this. Ego, okay? I'm holding on to money things, fear of loss. Yes, I feel like I depend on profit fluctuates as I'm a single. So I think one of the most important things about investing and trading in general, never trade and invest money that you don't have, that you're not willing to lose. And it's not like you're going to lose it because we have risk management and education, but the attachment to that money creates so much fear because of our natural hardwiring, our conditioning and our natural hardwiring. Your brain is wired to avoid pain and to seek pleasures. Okay? That's how we're naturally wired. How do you overcome? How to avoid small time frames every time you make. How to avoid small time frames. I make promises to go below. King, discipline. Okay, so I will give you one thing, yeah? If you're realizing that you're not very disciplined, yeah, and you're starting to realize, oh, I'm telling myself I should do this, but actually I'm not doing it. I'm going down on those smaller time frames when I told myself I wasn't going to. You start creating discipline outside of trading. Let's connect the dots. If trading is a mirror reflection of how we live our lives, and we're really struggling to make change in the market, what do? You know? Detaching from the money is so hard. Use percentages. Okay? Use percentages and do not risk what you cannot afford. Yeah? So journaling will help relieve my ego. Some of it, yes, but you need the right education behind you. What would you write down in your journal? Okay, trading journal at least. Okay, so because we're speaking about trading, personally, what I would do is a trading journal. So Dowie will be speaking at the end about the trading journal that we have that is all powered by AI. It's absolutely amazing. It speaks back to you when you journal in. So how I would journal on my trading is I would get into a trade. Actually, I trade before. I write down what I'm looking for and what setups I'm looking for. But let's say I've taken that trade and let's say it was a loss. I screenshot that trade, the charts, and I put it in my trading journal. And I go, was it a win? Was it a loss? How did I feel? Was I scared? Was it FOMO? Was I feeling frustrated? And then what did I learn out of that trade? What went wrong? What went right? The only way we're going to improve is if we reflect, become aware. It's the only way. Yeah, but this is what 90% of traders ignore. They don't care. Why don't they care? Because their egos are so big. They want to prove themselves to just make money without having to do this deep work. But if your emotions are running the short in trading, and okay, whose emotions are running their trades? Be honest. Come on. Get into the live chat. Whose emotions run their trades? Be as honest with yourself. You're the only person that's lying to yourself. You're the only person. Okay? How many people actually, I keep on realizing that it's delayed. I risk more than I can afford. Trying to hit a home run. You're gambling, Paul. You're gambling. There is a difference, yeah? Mine, same, yeah. There is a difference between trading and gambling. There is a difference between professional trading and gambling. Okay? Gambling is hope. Gambling is wishing. Gambling is emotion. Okay? Gambling is emotion. I feel lucky. I feel like it might, or I know with the ego. Okay? Excellent comparison. Reflect through journaling. What's your afraid? Yeah. I found when I'm going through stuff in my life, become aware of that. Journal on that. Journal that every day. My trading just hasn't been great because I've been going through emotional stuff. So what do? The most successful traders don't trade when they've got things going on in their life. Gold does this to me, lol. What exactly does gold do to you? Sanjay. Whoops. Excitement. Yeah. But since the market is uncertain, isn't it gambling? In the financial, it's in some people's eyes, yes, it is gambling. But the difference between a gambler and a professional trader, a professional trader has strategies, systems, and daily habits. They don't make a trade or pull themselves out of a trade because of emotion. Most of them wait for their A-class setups, they put the trade on, and they close the laptop. But when we're gambling, it's like, what if, come in, come out. Yeah? It's all emotion. Yeah? All of it. Emotions, USD, mine. Maybe the breakout. What productive questions do you ask yourself when you're journaling? I mean, you know, if we're in a trade, if I'm in a trade and things have gone wrong, I ask myself, what went wrong in this trade? What emotion was driving my behavior? You know, starting to become so aware. Without a proper strategy, discipline, or plan, it's definitely gambling. Exactly. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes someone successful to unsuccessful. Anyone can flip an account. Anyone. It's easy. You just press a button. You know, it's actually being consistent. And it's also about having those red weeks and not fully falling apart with emotion. Is management of risk. They know what they're aiming for and they know what exactly. Hoping this same mental discipline leaks into the rest of my life. Do it the other way around, Imi. It's the other way around. The other way around. Create discipline in your personal life. This is what I'm trying to say. How you live your life daily is a direct reflection on your success in trading. Okay? Do it the other way around. Okay? It does deadly pullbacks and it's been doing it recently. Gold does this to me. You're blaming gold. You're blaming gold. Gold doesn't care about your feelings. Joey will probably go over this in the next few sessions. But the market doesn't care about you. You have to hold yourself accountable. The market is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. You have to learn how to be adaptable, okay? You can't look for the exact same thing every time because you have to be adaptable. The market is uncertain, okay? So what we done yesterday, we may, because of market conditions, need to tweak things. That makes sense? So hard when burnout goes, but keep on trying, you're spot on. We can focus on burnout or we can focus on the solution. You know, we can focus on how burnt out we are, how stressed everything is, or we can just simply just get on with the work, hold ourselves accountable. Like you guys being in this industry, it's your choice. You made a choice to be in this industry. You know that. It's your choice. Okay, so instead of being like, oh my God, it's so hard, like just it's your choice. Leave. If you can't hack it, leave it. But if you really want to be in this industry and you really want to be successful, you've got to start implementing the work that's required, you know? Myself from the outcome and work on consistency. Exactly. Stop thinking about the outcome and start thinking about the journey. Stop thinking about being right and winning and just follow your system. But what my point is here today, I'm going to go back to my point. That it's not a strategy problem. It's a mindset problem. So if you think you just need to carry on being more, if you need to carry on structuring your plan a little bit more, your system a little bit more, it's the psychology. You need to create an emotional system for your, an emotional system, an emotional strategy for your trades. You know, just like that we have trades, we have a strategy for how we enter a trade. We also need a strategy for our emotions whilst we're in the market. Does that make sense? Saying very explosive on my shadow work. Yes, I choose trading over and over and over again. Then that's it. Oh, I felt that one. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, we can blame everyone else. We can blame the market. The only reason you're blaming the market is because it makes you feel better. You finally get to give the responsibility and the blame on something else or someone else, but the market doesn't care about you. The more time you're not becoming aware of how you are in the market and what is driving your behavior, the more time you're going to be in the same exact cycle. Okay, you need to learn how to interrupt this loop. You're only going to become better and not lead and trade with your emotions when you start to learn how to break this loop? How would you determine if a strategy problem versus a mindset problem? Okay, someone said, how would you determine, Abby, is it Abby? Abid? How would you determine if it was a strategy problem versus a mindset problem? Okay. Have you ever closed a winning trade too early? Have you ever held a losing trade for too long? Have you ever revenge traded after a loss? Or have you ever moved your stop loss hoping that the market would turn around? Pen drop. That's how you know if it's a mindset problem. That's it. You guys already know. You just want it so badly to be a strategy problem. The second that we can take responsibility for everything, the quicker you can start creating the life you want. Exactly. The quicker you actually get to stay in a winning trade or exit appropriately or actually come out of a losing trade. Okay? And the only way you'll know this is if you start becoming aware. Okay? Did people take any notes from today? What was the one thing that you learned? What was the one thing that you learned? If you could pick one thing from today's session, what's the one thing that was really, really helpful? That really was that aha moment, like, oh, this is it. What was the one thing? I'm going to pause just because this is taking a while. And please ask any questions that you want to ask. Let's go back to the solution. Consistent trading isn't built on one single trade or system. It's built through daily habits that develop your discipline, awareness, and emotional control over time. Lastly, education and trading psychology. Go mindset or go home. That should be our slogan, Doey. It's not a note from the slide, but it's like holding a mirror of myself, exactly that, not being able to look. This is why we say that trading is a mirror reflection of you. This is why 90% of traders don't succeed. Probably more than, it's probably 98% of traders don't succeed because they physically can't look at themselves. And I don't mean physically, I mean their actions, their habits, their discipline, who they are. They can't do it, you know? Appreciate the brutal honesty. Needed this. Thank you. I will always give you brutal honesty. I am a very kind individual with lots and lots and lots of empathy. But when it comes to this work, I have to push you guys. I have to be a bit harsh because you won't see it otherwise. You know, you won't see it otherwise. Not being able to look away and hide. Yeah. Honestly, the chat is so delayed. I have no clue what half of you guys are referring to because I've already moved on 5 minutes after that. But anyway, okay. On that note, I will leave you. We will be back. Joey will be back tomorrow for the second day of this bootcamp challenge. Please come. Well, I'm not even going to ask you to come. If you want to create long-lasting change within your trading, then you will come, and you will come until the end of the bootcamp, which is Wednesday. Like I said at the beginning, we are giving away some 10K challenges to the people that interact the most, the people that share the most, and also that just do the work. Do the work. You know, in our academy, I say one thing, and it's do the homework, do the work, get better. Don't do the tasking, don't do the work, don't get any better. The choice is yours, and our choices determine our outcomes. Our choices determine our future. So what's your choice going to be? Carrying on trading like this blindly, thinking, no, it must be my strategy, it must be my system. Or actually starting to wake up and listen to what 90% of traders are completely ignoring because their egos are way too big to listen. all things strategy. Yeah, this is what's missing from my trading feed. Do the work. Yeah, following forward. This is great. Amazing. Amazing. Yes, this is exactly what is missing from the trading industry. This is where me and Joey come in. I have had years of this training, guys. I have helped hundreds of people. You can literally go and find my other Instagram, my other TikTok. That's where my community was. I had a community called Thrive Beyond Limits. This is what the industry is missing because it doesn't sell the get rich quick. And so many people are pushing the get rich quick because they make more money through marketing that way. Maybe we won't make as much money through marketing this way, but we're giving you the I was about to swear then. We're giving you the stuff that actually helps, that will actually transform not only just your trading, but your life. I promise that. If you do the work, I promise you're not only your trading will change forever, your life will too, 100%. Look forward to great reminder for a mini recommendation for a mini homework. Become aware. Start becoming aware. What emotion is driving your trading? What emotion is driving your trading? Start to become aware. Yeah, that would be my number one. I was stirred by journaling and reflecting on my own emotions to reply. Where is he with my phone? Yes, Paul, exactly. Thank you so much for today. I hope these 3 days are going to be life-changing. I hope today was life-changing. I've given you a lot here. And it's probably a lot to take in, you know, like how I teach people. I will teach people in bite-sized things. Like everything we've gone through, everything's bite-sized with what I actually teach. I would never really teach someone this amount of information in one day. Everyone's selling golden strategies, but missing the cycle. Exactly that. So Paul just mentioned that he's going to start journaling. Joey's going to go through this at the end of the 3-day bootcamp. So please do not miss it. Okay. But she's going to go through how we have created an AI tool that is a journal, a little bit like Notion, but not like Notion. Okay. This journal speaks back to you. You write in your journal entries, this is what happened. You put in a picture of your chart. I lost, blah, 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 blah. You type, you send it off, and it speaks back to you. Not only about the strategy, but your mindset. But by the way, no one else has this in the market, in the industry. We are the first people to have this sort of journal AI. So please stay tuned for the end of the 3-day bootcamp. Selling golden strategy. Anyway, perfect. Well, I am going to love and leave you at this point. It was so great to have you guys. Do the work, get better. Don't do the work and stay in the exact same position. And Joey is going to be teaching you all things strategy tomorrow. So today was your mindset. Tomorrow is your strategy, but don't worry. Joey is trained in hypnotherapy and hypnosis, so she will be going through trading mindset as well, but she's going to correlate it more to trading, to the market, okay? I saw a little preview on a story. It looks promising. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, guys, on that note, that's okay. Anytime, if you'd like to follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, it's called Pixie Trades, Pixii Trades. Or pixie.trades. Be careful. There are so many fake accounts of me. I only have one, and there is a link in my bio. I think I have 1,900 followers. So please be aware. Awareness got to work on that. Yeah, one step at a time. Guys, this work cannot be completed if you do not do this in bite size. This is how I educate people. I pride myself and have always prided myself in educating people in the simplest way, okay? I grab information and I pull it apart. That's how I created this. I grab information and I pull it apart so people can understand it. That's okay. On that note, have a beautiful evening and just well done for showing up. Well done. you should be proud of yourselves. I am going to be in here, not on here tomorrow, but I'm going to be in the chat tomorrow, monitoring, seeing who is being active, who's asking the most questions, because the people that ask the most questions, the people that are in the chat and sharing and liking are going to be rewarded. On that note, I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing evening, and we will see you tomorrow at 6:30. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message. On that note, have a great evening. Bye.